Ladyboy Gaga has made a song about the magic word. Of course she did. Let us check it out. We see a tower, which reminds us of the Tower of Babel from Genesis chapter 11. There are 4 of these blocks in a row. 4 is the number of creation. Towers also symbolize watchfulness, which, in turn, should remind us of the watchers, especially the fallen angels when dealing with Lady Gaga. For example, Ezekiel chapter 33 verse 7 compares a prophet to a watchman on a tower, responsible for warning the people of impending judgment. In epics like the Mahabharata and Ramayana, lookout towers are associated with vigilance and defense, both physically and metaphorically. The idea of a spiritual watchtower relates to the need for constant awareness in the battle between Dharma or Logos and Adharma or A-Logos. She's holding a microphone in her right hand. Alright, here she is, the Scarlet Woman, New Babylon in the flesh. She's also known as the Whore of Babylon. We can read about her in Revelation chapter 17. She looks like Pinhead from the Hellraiser movies. That is not a coincidence since she will raise hell on the earth. Notice how her head looks as though it's dripping blood upside down? Revelation chapter 17 verse 4 says that she is holding a golden cup full of abominations and the impurities of the sexual immorality of the earth. So it seems like the Whore of Babylon's microphone is supposed to symbolize that in auditory form. She announces that the category is dance or die. Revelation chapter 17 verse 7 to 8 states, start quote, "The angel said to me, why do you wonder? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The beast that you saw was, and is not, and is about to come up out of the abyss and to go into destruction. Those who dwell on the earth and whose names have not been written in the book of life from the foundation of the world will marvel when they see that the beast was, and is not, and shall be present." That is a nice looking and creative title card. Notice the upside down 8s, as above so below. The name Gaga comes from Queen's song Radio Gaga. Wikipedia states, a nostalgic defense of radio. It was a commentary on television overtaking radio's popularity and how one would listen to radio in the past for a favorite comedy, drama, or science fiction program. Wikipedia states that this song was inspired when a band member's son said Radio Caca while hearing a bad song on the radio. Both Gaga and Caca sound like the words for a father in several languages. Dada, Baba, Abba, and so on. Babies naturally produce simple, repetitive syllables, babbling, as they learn to control their vocal cords and mouth movements. Keep in mind that occultists want to appear innocent to the world. They especially love to wear a cloak of childlike innocence. We see all kinds of people, different genders, races, and, of course, the men tend to look feminine. They are standing in a formation that seems to resemble the letter A because of how they are holding their arms. The uppercase A resembles a pyramid. All of them are dressed in white. In Satanism, the colors white, red, and black are very popular. They use red to represent Satan, sacrifice, authority, and so on. They use white to represent innocence, which is considered to be primitive in their minds. For example, they are against celibacy. They support sexual promiscuity and perversity. So, they would dress a virgin in white, but after she loses her virginity outside of marriage, she would be dressed in black, which symbolizes completion. When you mix all colors, you get black. So black is very important in the occult. They love to merge everything, genders, races, species, and so on. In fact, Lady Gaga herself is known for cross-dressing and pretending to be a man. Take her alter ego Joe Calderone as an example of that. Notice how the ground on which these people are standing is black. They are barefoot. In the Bible, it is required to be barefoot when walking on holy ground. It symbolizes humility, purity, and the direct connection to the earth. For example, in Exodus chapter 3 verse 5, Yahweh instructs Moses to remove his sandals. Footwear collects dirt, so the idea is that human impurity should not contaminate a sacred place. The people start to dance incoherently. Thus, it represents chaos. The Whore of Babylon is seeing the chaos. Then the song begins. The first verse starts with, start quote, "Paid the toll to the angels, drawing circles in the clouds. Keep your mind on the distance, when the devil turns around," end quote. White Lady Gaga is, of course, not talking about normal angels but fallen angels, anthropophiles. So a toll must be paid to them to reach a certain destination. She continues singing, start quote, "Hold me in your heart tonight, in the magic of the dark moonlight. Save me from this empty fight in the game of life," end quote. She's asking her lover to hold her in his heart tonight. Her lover is Satan. His bride is New Babylon, which is an imitation of Jerusalem as the bride of Christ. She wants to be saved from what she perceives to be her meaningless life on the earth. As you can guess, the dancers in white represent people in the end times when the Whore of Babylon will appear. Life is already hard, but then it will be even harder. So the nanny is posing as the Messiah. Like the Whore of Babylon, White Lady Gaga has a cross on her torso. The lines are stretched out, so that is the symbolism of the number 4 again. In the pre-chorus, White Lady Gaga sings, start quote, "Like a poem said by a lady in red, you heard the last few words of your life. With the haunting dance, now you are both in a trance." It's time to cast your spell on tonight. End quote. In other words, she's talking about possession and initiation. You die within your temple, but then the possessor takes over. In the chorus, she sings, start quote, Abracadabra, Amar u na na, Abracadabra, Morta u gaga, Abracadabra, Abra u na na. In her tongue, she said, dead or love tonight. End quote. In other words, what the whore of Babylon is saying sounds like gibberish, like gaga. But if you are initiated, you will understand her language, which is a witch language. In other words, it is an occult language. In the first sentence of the chorus, she says amor before morta. The word amor means love in Latin, while the word morta is obviously based on the Latin mors. It is cognate with the English words mortal and mortuary. In the post-chorus, she sings, feel the beat under your feet, the floor's on fire. It is a reference to the lake of fire and sulfur. As she's lying on the ground, she's moving backward. It is something like you would see in an Exorcist movie. The whore of Babylon is shocked. Notice the pyramid symbolism. When it comes into view, white Lady Gaga sings, choose the road. The whore of Babylon starts to sing along. Her first line is watch it burn. Now we see dancers in black. The whore of Babylon is now on the dance floor. The world is now hers. She acts like zombies or vampires do in movies. There are no dancers in white anymore. The dance floor is now hers and only the initiated ones are present in this new world order. They do this dance in which they use their stick like a machine gun. It symbolizes destruction. As she sings Dead or Love Tonight as the whore of Babylon, she's using her left hand to gesture that it has to do with her face. In other words, it symbolizes the choice between being an image of the beast or an image of God. Again with the pyramid symbolism. The white dancers reappear. White Lady Gaga then sings, start quote, Phantom of the dance floor, come to me. Sing for me a sinful melody. The phantom of the dance floor is the whore of Babylon. White Lady Gaga is asking her to sing a blasphemous melody. We see that White Lady Gaga is now wearing a cross. In Revelation chapter 17 verse 3, the Apostle John states, I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet-colored beast, full of blasphemous names, having 7 heads and 10 horns. It is a reference to her microphone symbolizing the golden cup full of abominations and the impurities of the sexual immorality of the earth. White Lady Gaga wants to drink from it. In Revelation chapter 17 verse 6, the Apostle John states, start quote, I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Isu. When I saw her, I wondered with great amazement. End quote. The theme of the chorus is Dead or Love Tonight. All Christians are saints, and in the night, which, of course, refers to the darkest part of the day, they must choose between death or what the whore of Babylon considers to be love. It's the same theme we see in leftism, love everyone and be inclusive of all. One love, one gender, one race, one government, one everything. We see White Lady Gaga scream, and she's surrounded by the other white dancers, who do not appear to be wearing crosses. This symbolizes Christian resistance, while the rest of society seems more accepting of the New World Order. Now we see her in a trance. The whore of Babylon looks down. Earth is her territory now. In this context, she represents love. White Lady Gaga looks up, suggesting that she looks up to God and has died. Heaven is where she belongs. The music video ends with this. The word abracadabra is now primarily used by stage magicians. When people hear it, they think of them. However, the word was originally used by actual magicians. Gnostics, for example, were already using it. Aleister Crowley adopted the word abrahadabra in the Book of the Law, the central sacred text of Thelema, associating it with the New Age that, according to him, began in 1904. Occultists are waiting for their time to come, to rule the world. That is the central theme of this music video. In the Old Covenant, Babylon is often depicted as a symbol of oppression, idolatry, and spiritual corruption. The New Covenant prophesies its return, which occultists celebrate. Lady Gaga is known for making occult-themed music videos, so it is no surprise that she portrays the symbol of New Babylon in this one.